11 years ago today, the 2010 MLB draft happened, and as you guys can see, this draft was stacked. But in my opinion, the most impressive pick came in the 9th round when the Mets selected a young shortstop, keyword on shortstop prospect, by the name of Jacob deGrom. And fast forward to 2021, he is the best pitcher that my eyes have ever seen. Now, of course, again, I'm going to say this one more time. I wasn't old enough to remember Pedro Martinez, Roger Clemens, Randy Johnson, Greg Maddux, and I wasn't even alive for Sandy Koufax and Bob Gibson. But yes, I am putting deGrom ahead of Scherzer and Kershaw and Garrett Cole and Verlander and all the other guys that you can think of. Even though Mets fans think I'm some sort of Mets hater, that I don't believe in Jacob deGrom because I made a video on him potentially cheating, even though I said he wasn't cheating and that he's the greatest pitcher I've ever seen. Maybe Mets fans are upset that I keep calling Billy McKinney Brian McKinney on accident. Now that's one more rant I do want to talk about before we get into Jared Kelenic getting demoted, Mike Trout speaking out against foreign substances, and also a trade that the Yankees need to make. Guys, I make these videos every single day, and if you think I'm going to get the name of every player right every single time, you're sadly mistaken. I'm a human. I am going to make mistakes. So if you're really upset and you want to unsubscribe because I call Jed Lowry Brett Lowry, I can't do anything for you. My job is to bring views and attention to the game of baseball, not get the name right of every player every single time. But for the other 99.9% of positive people out there that understand that these videos are not easy to make every single day, like I haven't missed one in 2 years, thank you for your support. I appreciate you more than you can ever imagine. And without further ado, let's stop going on rants and let's start talking baseball. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Before we get into the highlights from yesterday's games, we have to talk about a bombshell breaking news story. The fact that Jared Kelenic, the top prospect for the Mariners, has been sent down. Now, at the time of his demotion, he was 0 for his last 36. So that is definitely reason to send him down. He's just not ready. And a lot of people were saying that he wasn't ready to begin with, even though he was breaking. He should have had more time under his belt because he barely played any games above AA. And it reminded me a lot of Joe Adell, who was called up by the Angels in 2020. He had a 28 OPS plus and a negative 1.5 WAR by the time that 2020 was all said and done. So I do believe that Kelenic and Adell are going to be stars. It's taking some time for Gavin Lux. Like, Gavin Lux was considered a bust for the last year and a half, but he is finally coming around. And I fully believe that it's now their turn to go back down to minor league baseball, adjust back to what MLB did, because that's what MLB is known for. If a rookie breaks out, they hone in on their weaknesses, and it happened to Akil Baddoo. He had 2 walks to 29 strikeouts in his first 60-something at-bats, and now, as you guys can see, in his last 40 at-bats, he is striking out a lot less and walking a ton more. So that is the job of a rookie. Yermin Mercedes was 8 for 8 to begin his career. He was fantastic. Then he went 0 for 28. Jared Kelenic was 0 for 36. Akil Baddoo was striking out every other at-bat, it seemed like. So now that it's their turn to readjust, it's going to be fine. I promise you, Jared Kelenic fans, don't sell off your baseball cards just yet. I think he's going to be good. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the games from yesterday. We have 3 of them, so not very much, but we still have some things to bring up after the highlights are all said and done. The Padres versus the Cubs. We have Eric Hosmer and Manny Machado making it 2-0, and Brian O'Grady hit a 2-run home run. Padres fans were saying that he was not cut to be in the majors, and his wife, I don't know if this was his wife or his sister, whoever this person is, but she clapped back with a SpongeBob meme, pretty much saying, "You were saying," after O'Grady hit a bomb to center field. Cubs, they score 3 in the 4th inning off some bad defense, but Machado, Eric Hosmer, and then Brian O'Grady yet again, they finished the box score with 9 runs for the Padres. The Padres, they play well, and then they play not so great, but in my opinion, the Padres are very much an elite team, and I think that they are going to be in the NLCS. Like, I'm just seeing a championship squad. That's what I see. Moving on over to the Angels versus the Royals. The Angels have improved to 6-4 over their last 10 games, but they're still 6.5 games back of the A's for first place. You have Carlos Santana getting robbed by Wong over in right field, and Jackson Kowar, a highly touted prospect for the Royals. He was roughed up in his MLB debut, and fans were not easy on him, even though he's a young player. He didn't really have time to progress in 2020 because of the pandemic. You guys need to pump the brakes on content creators and players. Like, it's not that easy to do what we do every single day. And yeah, I know it's probably not fun as a Royals fan to see a pitcher give up 4 earned runs before the 3rd out of the 1st inning, but I mean, they weren't going to win that game regardless, because the Angels offense was clicking yesterday, and Dylan Bundy was really good on the mound. Now, Shohei Ohtani ended that game with 3 walks and a stolen base, so he's now up to 9 stolen bases. I mean, whatever you need from a baseball player, Shohei Ohtani, he's going to give it to you. But yeah, I just want to mention one more time that I know today's video is a lot about ranting about random things, but come on, guys. Why are you so mean and vicious? I sometimes lose faith in humanity with all of the vile stuff I see in comment sections. Like, It's not healthy. It's not good. You guys need to go outside more often. Today's recap is weird. I feel like this is a therapy session, not MLB recap. All right, let's focus on baseball for the rest of today's video. So while we just talked about the Angels, let's go ahead and bring up what Mike Trout had to say about the subject of cheating, not the Astros cheating, because he already spoke out against them, and I fully appreciated that because Trout, he's very to himself, and he doesn't like to publicly speak out if it's negative. He really likes to just be a positive person, but he came out in support of Trevor Bauer, saying that the league has to do something about what's going around, that it's not fair. He is basically speaking for the players and saying that they need to do something, talking about Major League Baseball and Robert Manfred, that they need to in fact regulate what is happening with the pitchers, because it's happening a lot in the minor leagues. There are pitchers being suspended for 10 games in the minors already for using foreign substances. So the young players are doing it. The players that aren't even in the big leagues are now trying to get ahead of the game and using it as well. So to me, Mike Trout has a point, but I want to ask you guys to let me know in the comment section down below, where do you think the final verdict is going to end? There's really two routes that we can go down. One, Major League Baseball allows the sticky stuff and foreign substances, but they have to rejuice the baseball, because if you don't remember, we're using brand new baseballs in 2021, and that is trying to limit the offensive damage. But in doing so, when you have a deadened baseball along with pitchers cheating, that's why you have a record amount of strikeouts, and everyone seems to be going for a home run, because it's either going to be a home run or a strikeout. The small ball era is completely dead. No one's bunting anymore. No one's trying to go the other way. So maybe they rejuice the baseballs and they allow the sticky stuff, or they keep the ball dead and then they enforce the ban, and if any pitcher gets caught cheating, they're gone for 10 games. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And then the final game from yesterday, we have the Red Sox versus the Marlins. The Red Sox are on a 5-game winning streak. They're only a half game back of the Tampa Bay Rays. A wild pitch scores Xander Bogaerts, and then Alex Verdugo drives an RBI on a double, and then the new leadoff hitter for the Red Sox, Christian Arroyo, he drives in 2 RBIs and scores on an error. I do have to mention that the Red Sox bullpen did struggle in the 9th inning, so they've now struggled against the Yankees and now the Marlins, but they did end up getting the W, so it's fine, I guess. Christian Arroyo, though, I want to mention that he was on Cleveland a few years ago along with Eric Haas. All of these former Cleveland players are now erupting with other teams. For the longest time, I thought that Cleveland was the best at identifying prospects and keeping them, like Francisco Lindor, Jose Ramirez, Shane Bieber. All of them were homegrown, but now we're just giving away people. We brought up the Marlins, and I do want to talk about Starling Marte, because on Twitter, I brought up the fact that maybe the Yankees should go for Ketel Marte, and a lot of Diamondbacks fans were saying, Fuzzy, that doesn't make any sense because Ketel is on a very team-friendly contract, so it is going to take everything from the Yankees farm system in order to acquire Ketel. So then it got me thinking, maybe there's another Marte that the Yankees could go for, and it wouldn't be as expensive, because this is the final year of Marte's contract, so the Marlins are probably going to try and ship him. He would be a good addition in center field for the Yankees, because you can't rely on Aaron Hicks. And Starling Marte, he's a good power threat. He's got good defensive prowess. He steals some bases, and I truly think that even though he is a right-handed hitter, that's the last thing that the Yankees need. He would be an upgrade over Aaron Hicks, and I think that he would be a big difference maker for Yankees fans. And also, one more thing before I show the video that could have potentially broken the Yankees. It is the fault of the players that are striking out every other at-bat, and also the Yankees are one of the worst base running teams in baseball, so maybe Aaron Boone has to be held accountable. But to blame the hitting coach, I don't believe in that. If you're gonna blame anything, blame this video for breaking the Yankees.
These guys are taking the baby bomber title way too seriously.
My sincerest condolences to anyone that had to watch that for the first time ever. That came out a few years ago, and ever since then, the Yankees, they just haven't been the same team. Right, everyone, well, that does it for today's MLB recap. Thank you all so much for watching. I know that today was kind of all over the place, but because we didn't have that many games, I wanted to get some things off my chest and kind of gauge your perspective on the different opinions that are going around the game of baseball. And also rant that I'm not perfect. Please stop questioning my baseball IQ because I botch a few players' names. I mean, I'm trying my best. So thank you guys for all so much for the support. I see you positive people. I try to reply to as many of you on YouTube and Twitter, but sometimes the negative people, ooh, just kidding. I worked at the Genius Bar at Apple. Strangers blamed me for breaking their Apple product. So I have the thickest of skin, but I just wanted to say I appreciate you guys. Thank you all so much for the support lately. I love you guys. Use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek to save 20 bucks off. Thank you all so much for watching. Peace out. That was a different recap. Let's not do that again.